To show you is how to make some really nice jewelry, pendants, earrings. It would work even on bracelets because you can put a veneer on them using what's in your garden. And I know that I've shown before how to do that with leaves. There are actually a few tutorials out there that I'm going to link after this live event is over. But this time I want to show you with flowers, and you can use little flowers from all kinds of weeds in your lawn. What I'm going to actually use are little moss roses. Because of the cooling, especially at night, my moss roses, like half of the flowers, are very tiny. So I thought that they would be absolutely perfect for what I'm trying to show you here. And the first thing that you need to do when it comes to the flowers is to flatten them a little bit. Not a lot, because you still want volume, but a little bit. And I'm going to show you with 3 different media. One would be a mica powder, another one will be a color shift acrylic, and another one will be chalk pastels. So to start the preparation, I'm going to place these flowers on a waxed paper with a waxed part inside. Most of the waxed papers have only one sided wax. If you have a two-sided, you don't have to worry too much. And as you can see, I am flattening them a little bit. Just to be able to cover them up with a folded part. And then you flatten them even more. I wouldn't suggest to get your roller on them because it would flatten them way too much, but your fingers should do the trick. And then, see, this one already had seeds. I'm gonna have to gather that. And simply get them out. Let me put this here somewhere in a good spot that they won't get toppled. I didn't realize it already had formed seeds. And let's get the first one. I'm going to make this smaller one with chalk pastel. And I'm going to choose a nice dark orange. So, and on this specific thing, you do not want to use a paintbrush because it would not do it would go too deep. Because what you want to do is just to slightly brush everything. And again, you can do this with leaves. If you have leaves that have nice veins on their back, the leaves you will not have to flatten. Where's my other? Excuse me, I prepared a whole bunch of waxed paper, and then you take it nice and easy. I'm showing this to you on white. Of course, you can do it on black or any other color. Just make sure that you choose your color to be in contrast with what you're using. And some of them will come up nicer, some of them will come up less nicer, but they will be all pretty. Now I'm using the orange pumpkin Perlex. And apologies for being a little bit here and there. I'm going to actually have to change my Ozempic day even one more day behind, like on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, because as I got my dose upped up, it seems to mess me up more days than it used to. Before, it was when I was on a 0.25, it would mess me up 48 hours after the shot. Now it went up to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The fourth day I was still messed up. So I'm going to change it to Tuesday, so that, because I was unable to have my sponsors live yesterday. Good thing that today I was okay. Make sure you do not drag it, and very gently press. You want to use the wax paper because otherwise you might leave fingerprints. And take it out nicely. And then the third one, I'm going to use, let me actually grab a paper towel. With the third one, I'm going to use a color shift acrylic. You can use a regular acrylic if you want to. I use the color shift because anything that's got mica in it looks prettier under resin. But you can use a regular metallic acrylic, or you can use a regular acrylic. So you have heard me before talking about the dry rub, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm taking a little bit on my finger, and then I wipe it off with the paper towel, and then I rub it off the petals here, and I'm going to try and get some on the stem and these little because you don't want a lot of it. A lot of it will be smudging a lot. So let's place it face down, and you can use the wax paper. And as I said, do not press too hard. You don't want smudges. You don't want too much of it on there. And yes, you might not get the whole flower out there, but a little bit of it is enough to create that beautiful effect. Let me just clean my finger of acrylic. And then my next thing will be to use a cutter. And then I'm going to resin them to show you how it looks. And once again, you can do this on black or any other color. I would suggest as colors You can use an alizarin crimson background. Okay, I didn't cut this one properly. Or even a mandarin, but if you use an alizarin crimson, use a gold. God, my hands aren't worth a damn anymore. If you use orange, then use something darker. So here we go. I cut it. And let me grab a toothpick. I'm going to resin this one the last because that's the acrylic, and obviously I do not want to smudge anything. And you can place other stuff as well. And it is up to you to use whichever medium you decide. You can even place some glitter in them or use a glitter clay as background. Again, it's entirely your choice. The whole idea is how to make this. Now, what I have to tell you, because I've seen a whole bunch of reels and shorts that show you how to put flowers and leaves in resin. And the questions I kept getting were, is that okay? Won't stuff happen to what's in the resin over time? And the answer is that it's okay for a while, because after a while, whatever you're putting in the resin will start decaying. Because no matter what you do, there will still be little bubbles of air, and there will still be bacteria that cause the decaying. So you're going to be left with decaying, rotting leaves and flowers in resin. One thing you can do now that still looks gorgeous is to press dry leaves and flowers. Remember how we were doing when we were kids? We would press flowers and leaves in books. You don't have to mess up a book, because sometimes it would mess up the book page because of all the sap that would get out. But you can put them in between. Just get some cheapo printing paper from a dollar store and use that. The only thing is that you have to be careful that you put it under something heavy. You can use books for that, heavy books. Let me get this in the lamp. And wait until they are really nicely dry, because when you do that kind of preservation, whatever you're preserving will not lose the colors. Another thing that you can do would be to freeze dry, and I would recommend that you check online. You can use your freezer for that, but check online to see how. And dried stuff will do just fine in resin, will not decay, because all the liquid is gone, and whatever bacteria might still be there, they need liquid in order to do the whole decaying thing. So you can definitely use dried flowers and leaves. And the same is for insects. Now it also depends on the insect. Like a gnat or a fruit fly or a mosquito will be fine to preserve. But if you have something bigger, not really. Another thing that you can do, again, you let the insect dry. I don't have it anymore because I already did it, but I don't know if you remember a few years ago, I had dead dry cicada because there's a lot of cicadas in my area, and about this time of the year you find them dead all over the place. And I had one of those, and I embellished it with all kinds of perlexes and color shifts and tiny rhinestones and stuff. And then, yes, that one I did put in resin, but it was fully dry. So as long as something is dry, you won't have a problem preserving it in resin. But if it is fresh, it will decay. Even if you would say, yeah, but it is in resin, there's nothing going in, there is stuff already in. So no matter how you treat it and how you deal with it, that stuff will be decaying. Maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month, but because it doesn't work as fast as it is when it's in open air, but it will decay. And if you're okay with having something just for a month or two or three, sometimes, depending on what is preserved. The thinner stuff takes longer, amazingly, and just because when it's something thicker, there's more mass, and those bacteria release gases also. They fart. And don't laugh at me like that, because like the smell of our sweat is actually bacteria farts. So be very aware of what you're making. It is much nicer to actually, I don't even remember how I called it. Let me just go for pendant. It's with an N. Okay, give me just a second and I will find it and show you. The one that I did with a leaf, I think it was this one. Let me make sure. Yes, it is this one. Let me show you on the display. No, not here, here. So, and I will link it. I put different colors of mica powder on it, and let me link it. And let us look at oh God, I got it wrong. I chose the wrong thing. Never mind. This was supposed to be public. I'm going to read. As I was wondering why there's nobody here. Anyway, so I'm going to make it public. I'm telling you, this thing is driving me nuts. So proud of myself that I was able to do it. Anyway, so this is it. I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to make this public, even if it is not a live, but sorry about that. So I hope you're all nice and happy, and I will see you next Sunday. Hopefully without me messing up.